Imagine feeling more energetic, clear-headed, pain-free, and simply healthier by making just a few smart choices at the grocery store. Sounds good, right? Well, it starts with knowing what to avoid. Get ready to discover 10 harmful ingredients hiding in plain sight, including secret facts about 2 of these ingredients that will seriously blow your mind. You won't look at your grocery cart the same way again. Number 1 is artificial dyes and artificial flavors. When reading food labels, look for things like red number 40, yellow number 5 or 6, blue number 1 and 2. If a color is listed, don't buy it. If the food is unnaturally colored, avoid it. You'll see this in products like Takis, M&Ms, Skittles, Fruit Loops, maraschino cherries, marshmallows, Jello puddings, toaster pastries, Mountain Dew, Kool-Aid, and that's just to name a few. Now, these dyes are linked to hyperactivity in children, and they also have the potential to cause cancer, allergic reactions, and other adverse health effects. A general rule of thumb that I use is if it has colors, I avoid it. For example, a pink strawberry milkshake at an ice cream shop or a blue drink at a restaurant. No, thank you. Artificial flavors, on the other hand, are synthetic ingredients that are added to the food to make it taste good, to enhance the taste. These flavors were not designed by God. They are artificial, and some have long-term effects on the human body, so we want to avoid them. All right, number 2 is seed oils, and you might know these as vegetable oils. The common ones that we are familiar with are soybean oil, cottonseed oil, canola oil, corn oil, safflower or sunflower oil. These are high in omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acids, which can often cause an imbalance in omega-3s and omega-6s. This can lead to chronic inflammation, which is linked to health issues like heart disease, cancer, autoimmune disorders, and things like that. Seed oils can be found everywhere, if we're being honest, from restaurants and snacks, chicken nuggets, mayonnaise, and salad dressing. This reminds me to let you know that when you are cooking at home, do not use canola oil or vegetable oil. Instead, you want to use things like ghee, or grass-fed butter, coconut oil, extra virgin olive oil, depending on what you're cooking. For sauteing on the stove in a pan, I would recommend something with a higher smoke point like ghee. But for making a homemade salad dressing or mayonnaise, you can use extra virgin olive oil. Also keep in mind that things like French fries at a restaurant are going to have seed oils. They have to fry in a large amount of oil. Even if a restaurant is saying that they are using tallow, keep in mind that the fries are prepared and prepackaged. When they're frozen, they're still going to contain seed oils, even if that fry is warmed up and heated in the tallow. All right, number 3 is high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup is a refined sweetener that causes obesity, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, as well as increased triglycerides. High fructose corn syrup can be found in processed foods, sugary drinks, as well as sauces. Now, I see this a lot in things like ketchup and barbecue sauce. So before you buy or eat anything, take a moment to read the label before making a decision. And yes, I said making a decision because at the end of the day, we want to have knowledge and be informed, but you still get to make a decision on what you choose to partake in and what you choose not to partake in. Other foods that contain high fructose corn syrup are going to be things like Ritz crackers and sodas, breakfast cereals, and pre-packaged desserts like frozen strawberry cheesecake. Let's actually look at the food label for a frozen strawberry cheesecake that I found at a store that I used to shop at often. Now, as you can see in this food label, you'll find not only the high fructose corn syrup, but you'll also find food dyes. And so when you think about it, if someone is eating this cheesecake for dessert, they've already got 3 of the harmful ingredients that we've covered: food dye, seed oils, as well as high fructose corn syrup. And then let's say maybe they went to a fast food restaurant for dinner, and then they had more seed oils. And you see where I'm going with this. It all kind of adds up in the toxic load of the human body, which is why we want to be aware of the things that we're consuming and avoid as much of the harmful ingredients as we possibly can. Now, of course, this doesn't mean you can't have cheesecake. You just want to make sure that you look at the product, look at the label, and choose the one that has the best ingredients. Or you can always make it from scratch and you know what's in it. All right, number 4 is Acesulfame, Sucralose, and Saccharin. These are all artificial sweeteners. With these artificial sweeteners, there are potential links to changes in the gut microbiome. Remember, that's where the immune system is, as well as increased risk of cancer, metabolic disturbances, leaky gut, inflammation, and headache. These sweeteners also interfere with hormones that regulate metabolism and weight control. You'll see these ingredients in things like chewing gum or Splenda, energy drinks, and even some yogurts. This is why it's important that we take our time and read the ingredients so that we can make sure that we're choosing products that do not contain harmful ingredients in them. For example, let's look at this Yoplait Yogurt Light. Now, in this, you see that it does contain a sweetener, an artificial sweetener. Now, this does not mean that you cannot have yogurt. It just means that when you are choosing a yogurt, you want to flip it over, look at the ingredients, and then purchase the one that has the least ingredients. You also want something that has ingredients that you actually recognize and you know what it is, and that it is as closely aligned to the way that God originally designed it to be. So yogurt essentially it comes from milk, right? So you really don't want a lot of extra ingredients in there. So instead of getting this particular product, you might want to consider looking at, if you just love this brand, you can consider looking at a different flavor. I wouldn't recommend the light because light or diet usually is going to have these artificial sweeteners in it, but you can actually get something basic like their regular strawberry yogurt. It's still going to have sugar. It's not something that I prefer, but it is going to be better than this particular light version. I think optimally, if you want to go super healthy, I would recommend doing instead like a plain Greek yogurt where there's literally just the yogurt. There's no additives, there's no extra sugars. And then you can always sweeten it with, your favorite fruits. Or if you want a little more extra sweet, you can even do maple syrup or honey, but at least you know what's in it and you know that they're not harmful. All right, number 5 is going to be monosodium glutamate. This is also known as MSG. This is used to enhance the flavor of foods. Some people have sensitivities to MSG, reporting symptoms like headaches, nausea, chest pain. It also has a potential to overstimulate brain cells, and some studies show that MSG negatively impacts the male reproductive health. So foods that often contain MSG are processed meats like hot dogs and lunch meats. You'll also find them in fast food or soups, condiments, instant noodles, and sometimes even Chinese food. So look for either MSG or monosodium glutamate when you're looking at the labels. I've seen this ingredient in things like Pringles, to add that flavor because they're not actually using, for example, barbecue sauce. They're using MSG to give it that flavor of barbecue instead of actually using barbecue. I've also seen this in some frozen Southern style chicken fillets that you can find at a popular warehouse. Okay, the next one, number 6, is nitrates and nitrites. These are preservatives and color enhancers that are used in processed meats. You'll find them in bacon, hot dogs, salami, deli meat. They can form nitrosamines, which are carcinogenic, which means they can cause cancer, especially when they're heated at high temperatures. But don't worry. All you have to do is read the food labels. There are some meats that will say no nitrates, no nitrites. For example, Godshall's uncured turkey bacon. It says on the label, it has no nitrites and no nitrates. So that might be an option, as well as hot dogs. If you like a hot dog, you can find grass-fed beef hot dogs with no nitrites and no nitrates in them. So you can enjoy these foods. It's just about finding the best, healthiest options that are available and free from harmful ingredients. Really, all we want to do is make some healthy swaps. All right, number 7, and this one is insane, is BHT and BHA. BHT is butylated hydroxytoluene and BHA is butylated hydroxyanisole. These are preservatives that you'll find in cereals, chewing gum, potato chips, and some studies have linked them to potential carcinogenic effects and endocrine disruption. BHT is a lab-made chemical, so it didn't come from God. And people actually use this as medicine for genital herpes, AIDS, and cold sores. What? Are you kidding me? Do you really want that type of medication in your breakfast sausage? Number 8, this is another crazy one. Number 8 is natamycin. This is another mind-blowing harmful ingredient. It is an antifungal agent that they use as a food preservative to prevent the growth of yeast and mold. It is also used in medicine. Yes, you heard me. It's used in medicine as well, specifically an antifungal eye drop that is used to treat fungal infections. Why is this in shredded cheese? Here's my tip for those of you who don't want antifungal eye drop medication in your tacos for dinner. You want to grate your own cheese, okay? Get a grater, or even a rotary grater is really good for shredding the block cheese on your own. What I found is the block cheese usually does not contain natamycin or even cellulose, we'll talk about in a minute. Those are generally in pre-shredded cheeses. Pre-shredded cheese, it's easy and convenient. You just take it out of the bag and sprinkle it on your food, but it is coated with natamycin and cellulose. If you get the block cheese and shred it yourself, you can make sure that you have minimal ingredients and you don't have medication in your food. Number 9 is cellulose. Cellulose is used in food processing to thicken, emulsify, and act as a bulking agent. You can find this in nut milks, ice cream, yogurt, and shredded cheese, like I just mentioned. Excessive intake can lead to digestive issues. In processed foods, cellulose often comes from wood pulp or cotton lint. Did you hear that? Cellulose, like in the shredded cheese, comes from wood pulp, wood, or cotton lint. I know, it's insane. The last one, number 10, is potassium bromate. This is a dough conditioner in some flours, breads, and baked goods. It's classified as a human carcinogen, and it's actually banned in many other countries, but hello, it's here in America. It causes gastrointestinal distress like vomiting, diarrhea, and nausea, as well as kidney damage, nervous system effects, and even hearing loss, especially in high doses or exposure. Where do you go from here? Please understand that you can still eat many of the foods that you love. You just want to commit to reading the food labels and selecting the options that do not contain the harmful ingredients that we talked about today. Here are some examples. I don't eat this yogurt, but instead I'd prefer something like this one with some fresh fruit. I wouldn't buy this bacon, but I would buy this one. And instead of this cheese, I would pick this one. You see what I'm saying? Pray and ask the Lord for help and wisdom in this area as you begin to make gradual changes. Remember, you can do all things through Christ who gives you strength. You've got this. And the extra effort is absolutely worth it. It's time to take back your health. Let's do it. Now, if you are still watching this video, comment below and let me know what ingredient you want to eliminate today. Subscribe to my channel to learn more about how we can embrace God's design for marriage, motherhood, family, health, and homemaking. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you give it a like, and I think you would enjoy this video next. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.